Unbelievably tragic news today. Selena is dead.
Police say she was gunned down in a Texas motel by a fan. Yolanda Saldivar.
Saldivar was embezzling money from the fan club, and that Selena was shot while trying to fire the woman.
Yolanda Saldivar killed Selena intentionally and knowingly.
After so many years, I think it's time to set the story straight.
Yolanda Saldivar, the woman who murdered Selena Quintanilla in 1995, is up for parole next year in March. But before her release, she will be coming out with a docu-series called Selena and Yolanda: Secrets Between Them. And people are not happy about this because Yolanda has shown little remorse for what she did and has only tried to justify her actions. Regardless of the secrets Yolanda will be exposing, not many people will believe her because she's known to be dishonest and just not a good person in general. But I'm curious to know what Yolanda has to say after 29 years. So let's talk about it. Before we talk about the docuseries, let's recap on Selena's life, her last moments, and what exactly led up to her death. Selena was born on April 16th, 1971 in Jackson, Texas. So right now, she would have been around 53 years old, which is crazy. A lot of people have said that Selena would have been one of the biggest stars at that time. But unfortunately, she was taken way too soon. Selena began singing at the age of 3 when her father realized she had a great voice. And at the age of 10, Selena became the lead singer in a band her dad created called Selena y los Dinos, which was Selena and her siblings. They began performing at weddings, quinceañeras, and all these different events in the city. They were doing this to gain popularity, get their names out there, and essentially make some money. One of Selena's early accomplishments was when she was signed with Capital Latin Emmy, and this is when she gained international fame. In 1990, a man named Chris Perez joined the group as a guitarist. Selena was 18 years old at this point, and they both started dating, and 2 years later they got married. Only 1 year later, in 1993, Selena won her first Grammy for Best Mexican American Album. And right after this, Selena became more popular than ever and decided to open up her own boutiques and start to venture out into different businesses. Selena wanted to open up clothing stores that resembled her style, and her fans loved this because they wanted to dress like her and essentially be like her. This is when she met 33-year-old Yolanda Saldivar. Yolanda obviously already knew who Selena was. She was actually a huge fan of her. But when Yolanda met with Selena and her team, Yolanda came up with this idea to create a fan club for her. And Yolanda was able to prove herself to Selena and her family. Ultimately, Yolanda was put in charge of running these boutiques, and she became the president of Selena's fan club. And by the way, all this money that was made in the fan club was donated to charity. It's been said that Selena and Yolanda became pretty close, and Selena was really happy and satisfied with Yolanda's work. But all good things come to an end. Let me tell you a little bit about Yolanda. Everyone was aware of how obsessed she was with Selena. It's been said that her room was covered with Selena posters. There were pictures of her all around her room and videos of Selena playing all the time. While she ran these boutiques, she told employees that she wanted to be just like Selena. The employees even came forward and said that Yolanda was possessive of her relationship with Selena and tried to distance her from other employees.
Her eyes, that was her ears. When she couldn't be there, we were to contact Yolanda.
And Saldivar, says Martinez, completely idolized Selena.
She was a fanatic. She has collection like you wouldn't believe. Of Selena. She collected everything of Selena.
But unfortunately, Selena didn't see it like that at the time, and she really didn't think much of it. Like I said, Selena really trusted Yolanda, and she was running her boutiques, so naturally she built this friendship with her. Selena then authorized Yolanda to write and cash checks, and she had access to bank accounts associated with the fan club and boutiques. Selena even gave Yolanda her American Express card for the purpose of conducting company business. But instead, Yolanda started using this money to rent cars and entertain other people. During this time, a lot of Selena's employees began complaining about Yolanda and her attitude, and that she was just really rude to everyone. Her staff said that she was only nice when Selena was there, and she was only nice to Selena, but was terrible to everyone else. When the employees told Selena about this toxic work environment, it was hard for Selena to believe it. Keep in mind that Selena was pretty young at this time, and people said that she was easily manipulated and just a bit naive. Selena's fashion designer Martin Gomez also complained that Yolanda was mismanaging Selena's money and accused Yolanda of damaging his clothes. He got really fed up with this, so he ended up quitting.
I left at the end of January.
Okay.
From December to January, things got really bad. And I started noticing things. So I started writing everything down. Porque esta mujer she was going crazy. And she was targeting me. There were so many things that this woman was doing to me, and I wasn't saying it to anybody. And I knew that I was an individual that was standing in someone's way. And there could have been a possibility that I would get hurt in the situation. That's why I left.
Other workers also started complaining about the lack of supplies, and a lot of people believe that Yolanda was using the shop's money for her personal use and not for the business. So in December 1994, the boutiques began to suffer. The company's bank accounts lacked sufficient funds to pay bills, and they were losing a lot of their employees because not only was Yolanda firing them, but they were also quitting. Then on January 1995, Selena's fan club began receiving a lot of calls and letters from upset customers who were not receiving their packages. It wasn't until Selena's father discovered that Yolanda had embezzled more than $60,000 using forged checks from both the fan club and the boutiques. And this is when things went downhill. On March 9th, 1995, a meeting was set up with Selena, her sister, and Yolanda. They wanted to give Yolanda the chance to explain where this money is and to come up with the money, or else they were going to get police involved. Yolanda didn't really have an explanation, and at this point, Selena felt like she couldn't trust her anymore. On March 10th, Selena removed Yolanda from the boutique's bank account, and Yolanda was replaced by another worker. Okay, and this is where things get serious. The very next day, Yolanda purchased a .38 caliber and told the seller that she needed protection in her job. She said that she worked as an in-home nurse and one of her patient's relatives threatened her. And as we all know, that was a lie. Now, on March 13th, Yolanda went to her lawyer and had her write her resignation letter. This was supposed to be Yolanda's alibi. Once again, Yolanda wanted to be in control and wanted to make it seem like she was the one leaving her job and not the other way around. That same day, Yolanda drove to the Sand and Sea Motel where she would plan to meet Selena, but at the time, Selena was in Miami. The next day, on March 14th, Yolanda contacted Selena and asked her to meet her at a parking lot 25 miles away in Corpus Christi. When Selena arrived, she spoke to Yolanda and told her that she can still remain in charge of her businesses in Mexico. But Selena was still planning on replacing Yolanda. She was just buying time until she could find her replacement. On March 27th, Yolanda asked Selena to meet her at a motel alone. Selena ended up coming, but fans found out she was there and they surrounded the motel. It is believed that this was another attempt to take Selena's life, but she couldn't because there were so many people. On March 30th, Yolanda returned from a business trip she had taken to Mexico and checked into a Days Inn motel. She then contacted Selena and made up the story that she had been AR'd and if she could come and visit her alone at the motel. Selena came, but she ended up coming with her husband Chris. This was another attempt to take Selena's life, but her husband was there, so Yolanda couldn't. Then when Selena left, Yolanda called her again and asked her if she can come over and take her to the hospital. The next day, Selena took Yolanda to the hospital, and when she was examined by a doctor, they said that they found no evidence of her being AR'd. Now, when they arrived back to the motel, this is when Yolanda went through with her plan. On March 31st at 10 a.m., Selena's brother called Selena's husband, Chris, and asked him where Selena was. So Selena was scheduled to be at Q Productions to record a video. Since she wasn't there, Chris called Selena and asked her, "Hey, where are you?" Selena then told Chris that she completely forgot about the session and that she was just taking care of one last thing before she got there. And that was the last time that Chris spoke to Selena. Not long after that phone call, Selena and Yolanda began arguing. And basically, Selena told Yolanda that she could no longer be trusted and then fired her from her position. At 11:48 a.m., gunshots could be heard coming coming from the room. Selena was seen running from the room into the lobby screaming. It's crazy because Selena was shot on the lower right shoulder, but she was still able to make it to the lobby. There were people in the lobby and Selena was screaming for help and said that she's been shot. And according to a man that was in the lobby, saw Selena running and Yolanda chasing after her, pointing her firearm and calling Selena the B word. Selena collapsed and was losing a lot of blood, but before she lost consciousness, she said that Yolanda was a shooter and gave the room number. Everyone was helping, trying to stop Selena from losing a lot of blood, but when paramedics arrived, they kind of already knew that it was too late. They visibly saw how much blood was on the floor and they still tried to do CPR. When they arrived to the hospital, Selena's pupils were fixed and dilated, meaning there was no evidence of neurological functions and she had no vital signs. But after 50 minutes of trying, they realized that the damage was irreparable. At 1:05 p.m., Selena was pronounced dead from blood loss and cardiac arrest. It was later stated that had the bullet entered 1 millimeter higher or lower, that the damage would have been less severe and Selena would have most likely survived. Police found Yolanda in her pickup truck near the motel, but Yolanda would not come out and had a handgun to her temple and threatened to take her life. They waited for her for 9 hours until Yolanda surrendered. When she was in her car, she was saying a lot of things, one of them being that she just killed her best friend. Yolanda was sentenced to life in prison with parole in 30 years, which is coming up next year in March. Selena's funeral was crazy to say the least. Selena's funeral was packed with people. It really showed the impact that Selena left at such a young age. They had memorials everywhere where thousands of people gathered, and about 30 to 40,000 fans passed Selena's casket showing their respects. In the beginning of 1995, Selena began working on an English album and it was called Dreaming of You. But she was murdered before she got to finish it. This album was released after her death and it became the best-selling Latin album of all time. It was #1 on the Billboard 200 charts and sold 175,000 copies in just the first day. She became one of the 3 female artists to sell over 300,000 copies in 1 week. Now, Yolanda's story of what happened on that day is extremely twisted.
What happened that morning when Selena arrived? Did she say she wanted to fire you?
Never. She never told me that. I was telling her to leave. And I said, it's over, Selena. It's over. I can't work for you no more. I can't work for you no more. She went down. She grabbed my feet and told me not to leave her. And I picked her up and I told her, just leave. And I grabbed the gun, put it in my head. I pulled the thing back. And I said, if you don't leave, I'm going to do it, Selena. And she got up and she says, Mom, we need to talk about this. We need to talk about this. I'm going to close the door. And when she was walking to the door, she was going at an angle. And I told her, don't close the door. And in that instant, the gun went off.
But why didn't it hit you?
Because I was pointing to the door, and it just went.
Did you know she was hit?
No, I did not know.
There was blood along the door seal.
I didn't even look at the door.
But there was blood all over the room. How could you not see it?
The pictures that I see, they're dots.
You can tell how manipulative Yolanda is, and the story that she made up in her head, it's like she almost believes it. She shows a complete lack of remorse and makes it seem like Selena needed her more than she needed Selena. Selena's family took her loss very hard. Her father came forward and said that Selena was the trusting victim of an obsessed, unbalanced fan who stole thousands of dollars from the singer's businesses and then killed Selena after realizing she had been cut from her life. Selena's father also believes that Yolanda killed Selena intentionally and does not buy her claim that it was an accident. Yolanda still says till this day that it was an accident and she meant to take her own life and not Selena's. But to investigators, that makes absolutely no sense. There were some witnesses, there was evidence. Now, almost 29 years later, Yolanda is coming out with a docuseries. Like I mentioned, it's called Selena and Yolanda: Secrets Between Them. But how ironic is it that this is coming out literally right before her parole? Apparently, the focus of this docuseries is to shed new light on Yolanda, basically attempting to somehow help her image, which truthfully, I don't think that will ever be possible. Selena's family is not too happy about this docuseries as well, because they said that everything Yolanda says are lies. Many of Selena's fans have said that this docuseries is disrespectful and that they would not be watching it. It's kind of like Yolanda is using this docuseries to somehow make some money out of it and using Selena's name for popularity. But Yolanda claims that people deserve to know the truth.
I knew her secrets, and I think that people deserve to know the truth.
Which, if there are any other truths to be told, why wait almost 30 years? According to Yolanda and her family, everything wasn't as it seemed, and there is way more to this story, which I don't believe. Apparently, Yolanda will be revealing all of the details of her working relationship and friendship with Selena, which I don't understand the point of this documentary, because you had your day in court. What can you possibly say at this point that will help your case? I don't think people will be able to forget this and move on. Even if you have some sort of explanation as to why you did that, murder is never the answer. Apparently, Yolanda's family will also be in this docuseries, and they are coming forward with never before seen revealed documents and recordings. They said that they're attempting to unveil a side of the tragedy that has remained hidden from the public eye. Which again, if this is so crucial in Yolanda's case, why wasn't it ever included in court? In my opinion, Yolanda was a great manipulator. She was obsessed with Selena and wanted to have full control of her. And when she realized that she was losing control of Selena, that's when she decided to take her life. I really feel like this docuseries will make people despise Yolanda even more than they already do. I know this is a very old case, but since Yolanda's parole is coming up and with this new docuseries, I really wanted to talk about it. Let me know what you guys think about this new docuseries. Have you heard of it? Are you guys gonna watch it? Other than that, that is it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please give this video a like and subscribe if you enjoy this content. Also, follow my social medias if you want to see more of me, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.